Welcome to your chordal guitar lesson of the week. Today we will discuss GOD chords. And I had a student who came to me and said, Antoine, can you teach me about GOD chords? And I was like, what the heck? Is this really a real thing? And I've made some research and it turns out that it originates from Jake Lizio, which has a wonderful YouTube channel on guitar music theory that you can check out in the description box. I listed it, so I give full credit to him. So basically, GOD chords are just clever ways to use major chords all over the fretboard. So let's say I have a starting point on D major, like this, right? And I can choose 5 different chords to create my GOD chords. It's either the chromatic mediants, it means chords that are a third away, whether it's above or below the chord I was on. So if I start on D, I can go 3 frets above, 1, 2, 3, and create a major chord. And that would be a chromatic mediant, a minor third above my chord of D. But I can go a major third above, so that would be 4 frets, 1, 2, 3, 4, so that F sharp would be another option. And then I can go the opposite way. I can go 3 frets below where I am, so 1, 2, 3. Then that B chord would be my chromatic mediant, a minor third below. And then I can go 4 frets down to 1, 2, 3, 4. So that B flat is my chromatic median, a major third below the chord I was starting on. So I said 5 different chords you can choose, and these are 4. The 5th one is the tritone chord. So you need to find your tritone compared to where you were. So if I start on D, my tritone is here. So I can start here, or I can go 1 octave below if I want. So your tritone chord is always going to be 1 string below or above and diagonally. So in my case, I come from D here, and I just go 1 fret down and 1 string down, and I've got my tritone. So why it works so well is because all of those chords do not share a common key, and most of the times they do not even share common notes between them. The point of GOD chords to get chords that are going to sound epic and like in scientific documentaries or like sci-fi movies or something like that is to have chords that are so far apart that they do not share notes and do not share keys as much as possible. And then I said that you use chromatic mediants, but that is not really the case, because when you use chromatic mediants, it's still in a certain key, right? So if I am in the key of D major and I choose to build a chromatic mediant on F, that F chord doesn't belong to my key of D, but after that I can go elsewhere and eventually I will come back to my key of D and stay in the key of D major. So that's the difference between chromatic mediants and GOD chords. Chromatic mediants are certain colors that you are going to choose from in your key, but GOD chords are going to disregard keys totally. Each chord is the new starting point, basically. So if I start from a new one, let's say I start on E major, I can say, okay, maybe I'm gonna go a tritone away. And then I don't consider this chord as being the tritone in the key of E major. I just consider that this is my new starting point. So where do I go from here? Do I go a major third above or something like this? Right? So now I just use a GOD chord, and this is my new starting point. I am not in the key of E major. I can go a tritone again. So you see, each chord is like its own infrastructure. Each chord is its own thing, right? It doesn't belong to any scale or any key. And that's how you can use God chords effectively, and they need to be major chords always. So I'm going to give you a little trick so that you can find your God chords easily, a little pattern on your fretboard. Because if you have to calculate each time, okay, 3 frets above or below, or 4 frets, or finding the tritones, it can be confusing a little bit. So let's say that I start once again from D, right? So this is my first chord, and I want to play a God chord after that. Instead of calculating, what I'm doing is I will take the root of my chord, which is the D note on the 5th string, and I will play it with my middle finger instead. Now all my remaining fingers are going to tell what notes I can base my next chord on, that is, below the string I am on. So if I am on the 5th string right now with my middle finger, it tells me that my index can go on the 6th string. Here, that makes my tritone. My ring finger can go here, that makes my major interval, so that's my major chromatic median, if we can say that's below, or I can use my pinky to do the minor third chromatic median. So I have those 3 choices, so I can come from here and then go here. I can come from here and then go from my ring finger, and then from here and with my pinky. So I have my 3 choices below here. Right? So that is when you want to go below where you are. If you want to go above where you are, you need to start from your ring finger instead. So on the same note, on my same D note, right? And now my fingers are going to tell what's available on the string that is above. So on my 4th string this time, right? So I have either my index, middle finger, or pinky. So from my index, that's going to be my chromatic minor median above. Then from my middle finger, that's my major chromatic median above. And then my pinky is from my tritone. So I can come from here, here to here, from here to here, or from here to my tritone. And if you want, you can shift those positions 1 octave down, so you can play them there. And if you have a hard time shifting octave positions, I have a whole lesson on it that you can click on the card here. So always remember for your God chords, right? You pick the chord that you're on. If you want to go below, you place your middle finger and you know what's available below it. And if you want to go above, you place your ring finger and you have what's available above it. So let's say I do something random, right? I start from F and then I want to go below. So I play my F note from my middle finger and then I can choose, let's say, my index here. Then if I want to go above from here, I can play the chord I am on, the root of that chord, and I can play my ring finger because I want to go above. So now I have my 3 choices. Maybe I'm going to choose my middle finger this time. So I'm going to come from here to here. And then on and on and on. If you want to go above, you start from your middle finger. And if you want to go below, you start from your middle finger. And if you want to go above, you start from your ring finger. So that's a way that you can play with God chords and find them on the fretboard like this. And then it's time to put some ambient, reverbs, and delays, and you can start exploring from any point here. No keys, remember. So you see how I shifted from one chord to another? I just played and swelled my chord, and then I tried with my ring or middle finger to see what's available above or underneath it. So that's really cool to be able to play like that. So if you want to create an epic sounding song, something that's out of the box a little bit, play major chords and use God chords like this. It's gonna be a lot of fun. And if you want to learn more chords and learn more with me, you enjoyed this lesson, I invite you to my free mini course on my website where I teach you about ambient guitar chords. Really beautiful shapes to learn on your guitar. So you can click on the first link in the description box and enroll in my free course. I give you chord charts and exercises that you can download, and you can learn some beautiful chord shapes that are usable for many things on your fretboard. So head over to my website on the first link in the description box. And like always, thank you very much for watching. Subscribe and click on that bell if you are new. And until next time, au revoir.